In previous sections, we built a very simple version of self-attention for educational purposes to have a gentle introduction to the concept of self-attention. Now we are going to introduce these so-called trainable weights. And the idea here is that these are model weight parameters that are going to be optimized later during the model training in chapter 5. So this will help the model to produce better outputs by learning better attention weights. And this is, by the way, also the way the real self-attention mechanism works. In this section, we're not going to implement the whole self-attention mechanism that is used in GPT models. This will come later in this chapter, but this is one step closer to what's really happening in GPT models in terms of the attention mechanism. So just to take a small step back to section 3.3.1, what we have done there is we computed these so-called context vectors. So we had the inputs, we had an input sentence. These are the vector embeddings. Then we computed the attention weights. And then based on the attention weights, we computed the weighted sum over the inputs to come at these, or to get these context vectors. What we're going to do now is very, very similar, except that we are now introducing additional trainable weights. But the goal is still to compute this context vector. To jump a bit ahead and to show you one figure here. So what we are going to do is we are still working with the input sentence, the same input sentence, but now we have a context vector that only has 2 dimensions. And I should mention it's 2 dimensions, so that because I wanted to show you that this dimensionality is arbitrary. I could choose 2, I could choose 4, but it's no longer dependent on the input size here. So before, it had to have the same size as the input vector because we were computing the weighted sum over all the inputs. So if we wanted to add those, they had to have the same size as the input. Now here we are more flexible because we are introducing these query, key, and value parameters. And by the way, I'm using very, very small embeddings here and context vectors for illustration purposes. In reality, when we are training the model later in chapter 5, these are much larger. In the case of the smallest GPT-2 model, for example, this is top of my head 768. And for the biggest one, I think it's 1600. So in reality, when we are training LLMs, they are much larger than 3 and 2. It's more like 1,000 something, or even multiple thousand of dimensions. Here it's really just kept small for illustration purposes. But the size here, the main point is it's no longer dependent on the input size. It's a flexible size I can choose, or we can choose. And this is determined by these weight matrices. One more thing here is we compute these weight matrices. So they are WQ, WK, and WV. They stand for query, key, and value. So we compute these query, key, and value vectors by doing a matrix multiplication between the input and these weight matrices. And then based on those, we compute still as before, similar to before, these attention scores. And then we convert the attention scores into attention weights that sum up to 1. And then we compute the context vector. What's new is the attention weights and that we have these intermediate values here. Okay, so again, also for simplicity, similar to section 3.3.1, we are only looking at this context vector with respect to the second input. So you can see that's this index position 2, similar to here, because we are focusing on the second input. Of course, in reality, we want to compute the context vector for each of the inputs, but this is more work. We will do this later to just have an introduction to the topic. We will focus only on one of them at a time. Notice that the query here is derived from the second input, and this query is also reused here and here. But again, similar to before, the context vector combines all the inputs. It's still with respect to the second input though, because this query is derived from the second input. The context vectors for the other inputs, for the first input, would look different because the first input would have a different query vector that we would use everywhere. Okay, so let's maybe jump into the code. And by the way, why it's called K, V, and Q, it's because K for query, K for key, V for value, and Q for query. And this is I think I have a section on this in the book. It's based on database terminology, but again, I don't want to go over all the details here because I realized the video 3.3.1 was already very long and I don't want to make infinitely long videos here. I want to focus on the code examples. So let's jump into the code. So to begin with, what I wanted to do is I wanted to first define a few values here that we are going to use. And so before we had this inputs here, this was our inputs tensor where we had the 3D embedding for the first token, the second token, and so forth. Sorry, third token, fourth token, fifth, and sixth token. And so what we're going to do is we are going to assign this to a placeholder variable. Let's call that x2 to keep it shorter. And then we also have a placeholder value, the in. And so the in would be just the dimensionality of this one. So let's do this maybe more general like this. So this would be the number of columns. So 3 dimensions. I could also write 3 here, but to make it more general, to show that it depends on the actual size, because this might be different depending on what you choose for the embedding size. But for this one, we can choose it as a user. We can choose our output embedding size. So that's the output embedding size here of each of these thingies. Okay, now we have defined those. So just some placeholders. The next part would be generating the weight parameters. Now, I'm setting a random seed here so that you get exactly the same values I'm getting. So we will now generate the weight for the query, the key, and the values. And for that, we are going to use the torch random function. So this is generating random values in the shape 3x2. So this will be a 3x2 matrix. And in addition, to make it trainable, we can use torch parameter. Later, we will replace this by a different method. But in general, torch parameter is a wrapper around a tensor in PyTorch to make it trainable. So this will be then a trainable matrix. I think it should be torch NN. So this is a trainable matrix. And here you can see there's this requires grad to true, which means that it is a trainable matrix. It requires a gradient, basically. But we won't be doing training until chapter 5. So we do the same thing now for the key and the value. We just do it like this. And they are all different. So query, key, and value will be different, as you can see here. So maybe let me do it like this. W query and then W key. So you can see they're all different randomly initialized matrices. Now, what we are going to do next is we are going to compute the query here, the Q2. So how are we going to do that? So let me define query as with respect to the second input. So we know what input it corresponds to. So this is corresponding to the second input that we defined here. And then we do the matrix multiplication with the query. And so what it really does here is it's transforming a linear transformation. It's transforming the 3-dimensional embedding into a 2-dimensional one. So you can see this is now a 2-dimensional embedding. It's matrix multiplication. I don't want to go too much into linear algebra here, but it's essentially a linear transformation projecting the 3-dimensional tensor into a 2-dimensional one. So if I maybe just for a moment print this out, and then just really briefly, because I don't want to make these videos too long, because then you get bored, and it takes also a lot of time. So I'm always recording them in the evening after work, and it is always getting pretty late and dark. Anyway, so we do have this input that is 3 values here. And then if we do the dot product with this column, that would be our first value. And then if we do this dot product between this one and this one, this would be our second value, essentially. And so we are projecting this 3-dimensional input into a 2-dimensional vector. Now, we do the same thing for the keys and values. So now we have the query. Now, let me go back to the figure one more time. So the query is reused everywhere here. But the keys are unique. So you can see here I'm drawing this WQ, but here I'm not drawing it because I'm reusing it here, because it's with respect to the second input. The key though and the value vectors, they're unique. They are always depending on the input here at each position. So for that, it's a bit different. So what we are going to do is we are doing the matrix multiplication with a whole input tensor. So we are going to do it like this. And yeah, so this should be then having the shape. Maybe pause the video to have like a small challenge, but this should have the weight, the dimension of the inputs 6 and the output dimension 2. It's because it's a 6 times 3 matrix times 3 by 2. So it's 6, 2. Let's double check if I am correct here. W key, I think. Yeah, so it's a 6 times 2-dimensional output. And so if I do keys, so this one would correspond to this key here. The second one should correspond to this one and so forth. Okay, so now we have these values. The next one would be computing these attention scores. So as you recall, previously we computed the attention scores by doing a dot product between the query and the input. So going back one more time, we computed this one here, or let's do this one. We computed the input here as the dot product between this input and the query, which is this one. Or in this case, we computed the attention score by multiplying or doing a dot product between this input and itself. So this x2 dot x2. Now it's a bit different. Now we are not working with these directly anymore. We are going to work with these here. We're going to do the dot product between Q2 and K2. So let me do that. So for that, let's define keys with respect to the second input. It's a bit easier than the Python indexing because it starts at 0. So I want to have the nice number 2 here that corresponds to the 2 here. And then we compute the attention score, 2, 2. So 2, 2 because it's the second input with respect to the second input as the query. So this is the 2, 2 here. And this is like the torch dot product, the torch query 2, and then keys 2. Keys 2 is this one. Yeah, should work. Let's just print it out. So this is 1.8 something, and this should represent this one here. Now, we would have to do the same thing for the other ones, which is a lot of work. So we would do this manually for 1.2 and up to 2t. So in our case, 2.6. So this would be a lot of typing if we had to, do this for all of them. So there's again one trick that we can do. We can compute this all in one go. We can use again our friend, the matrix multiplication. By doing this matrix multiplication, these attention scores are now computed for all of them. So we can see, for example, the second one, just to double check, matches this one, and this key should be the one corresponding, the attention score should be the one corresponding to this one, 1.2 here. The dot is very small, it's not a 12, it's a 1.2. Okay, so far so good. Next, what we have to do is we have to compute the normalized attention weights. And remember from the previous sections how we did that? We computed those by using the Softmax function in PyTorch. So we had torch.softmax, and then what we did is the attention scores, here the ones with respect to the second input. And then there's a new thing here. We use a normalization term. So let me just define this. So the keys here, they have dimension 2. So just as a placeholder, the dimension of the keys. And so here what we are going to do is we are going to use that, the square root of that. So we can do the square root in Python like this. Oops. Still have to get used to my new keyboard position here. I am having it a bit different than I'm usually typing it. But so in PyTorch, just to illustrate, the square root, I mean, you could do square root import math and then math.square root. For example, the square root of 4 should be 2, right? So we could do it like that. But an easier way, instead of importing anything here, we could just do it like this. So that's the same thing, essentially. So that's what I'm doing here. And this will keep them in a reasonable range. So this was originally proposed in the Attention is All You Need paper in the 2016 or 17 paper. Attention is All You Need, that introduced the original transformer architecture and self-attention mechanism. So, but yeah, it's the same softmax we used in the previous section, except that we have now this normalization. So let's see, let's call them attention weights with respect to the second input. Then we can look at how they look like. And so yeah, these are our attention weights. And if I didn't make a mistake here, they should all sum up to 1. Let's double check this. So yeah, they nicely sum up to 1. And one more step. So if you count it, there's one more step, the context vector. Now we have the attention weights. There's one more thing. We have to now compute the context vector. Before, in the previous sections, what we did is we computed those as the weighted sum over the inputs. Now we are not working directly with the inputs anymore. We are working with these intermediate values. And so, like shown here with this arrow, we compute the context vectors by applying the attention weights as the weighting to the values instead of the inputs. Previous sections used the inputs. Now we are going to use these values. So maybe just briefly as a big picture, we have these intermediate values that are the result of this matrix multiplication. So it's like a linear transformation of the input. And the query and the key, they are involved in computing the attention scores and attention weights. And then the value is involved in computing the context vector by multiplying it with the attention weights. So in the case here, all of them are involved, but they are involved in different steps. Now, these are already used up for computing the attention weights, but now we are going to use the value with this attention weight to compute the context vector. And the context vector is again over all the inputs, but it's still with respect to the second input because the query is everywhere used from the second input. But still the context vector combines the information of all the inputs from everything here. Why do we have these? So there are actually papers, I think I referenced one in the book. There are papers that show it doesn't have to be that complicated. You can use fewer weight matrices, but this happens to work very well empirically. So this is a way, that just happens to work well. You get slightly better performance. I think there was even a discussion on GitHub for the book chapter. Maybe I can post this later. But a reader also experimented with reducing the number of matrix multiplications, and the results were also pretty good. So there are different ways you can implement this. What I'm showing you here is the original implementation as it is used in the transformer paper and in most LLMs essentially. And it's mainly based on empirical performance. Okay, so let's get back to the context vector step here. So the context vector is now computed as the sum, the weighted sum over these values. And so context vec 2, and then we use the attention weights that we just computed and do a matrix multiplication, and then we should get all the context vectors. So there should be one context vector for all the 6 inputs. So they are the weighted sum over all the values. And so this is our context vector here, 0.3, 0.8. You can see again the truncated values, 0.3 and 0.8. Oops. Now, what we've done here is kind of analogous to section 3.3.1, where we computed everything with respect to the second input. Then in section 3.3.2, we generalize that for all the other input tokens. In a similar fashion, in 3.4.2, we are going to generalize this to compute the context vectors also for input 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Get this book at Manning.com.